cursor? Yes. So here on the map, we can see the prevalence of global mental disorders. And we can see that there is a large share of population that suffer from mental disorders globally.
In Australia, there are many more than India, right?
Yes.
Or it's not reported now.
That's why Greg Murray sir is working on bipolar disorders and many mood disorders. So, it is posing a worldwide threat of increase in chronic medical illnesses. So now, from last few days, we are hearing that there's a well-established link between circadian disruption and mental disorders. So therefore, we want to explore the emerging science of circadian medicine to understand if the daily rhythm cycle can be modeled to enhance the development of effective therapeutics. So there are thousands of genes that are targets of either drugs, they metabolize or transport drugs that are rhythmically expressed over the day. So we can either coincide the timing of coincide the drug administration with the maximum expression of the target or the minimal expression of its off targets to have maximum efficacy of the drug. So to understand the dosing time dependency of the drugs which are already in use for treating mental disorders, we did an in silico analysis. So according to the Global Disease Burden 2019, these are the 12 mental disorders mentioned here that are globally prevalent in 204 countries. So what we did is that we gathered the information about the drugs which are prescribed for these enlisted disorders, and we did it through a database, that is National Institute of Mental Health, and we reduced the duplicates and number got reduced to 124. Then we procured their most prominent drug targets through the Chemi-Informatic database, that is Drug Bank, and after removing the duplicates, the number was reduced to 244 drug targets. Then we used various platforms like CircaDB, Metascape, Panther or Docvina for further analysis, data interpretation and visualization. So here in the graph, I have only plotted those drug targets which are the targets of more than 20 drugs. So some of them, that is adrenoreceptor 1 alpha 1A, it is a target of more than 20, that is 35 drugs. DRD2, that is dopamine receptor B2, is a target for 40 drugs, and similarly HTR2A is a target of 37 drugs. Then I checked the 24-hour expression profiles of all the 244 drug targets via CircaDB database, and I found that in mouse 134 drugs are rhythmic at transcript level and 86 of them are rhythmic in human. And out of these 15 targets which are targeted by more than 20 drugs, I found that 6 of them are robustly rhythmic at transcript level, and they are involved in important biological functions like cell-to-cell signaling, cell proliferation, blood circulation, etc. Then gene ontology analysis was performed to see that all the rhythmic targets, to see in which biological processes, cellular components and molecular functions they are involved. So p-value is represented by the color gradient, and the rhythmic gene counts is represented by the bubble size. Then out of these 6 targets, 4 of them are here plotted. I have represented only 4 of them, so which are showing robust 24-hour expression profiles. So till here, the clocking of the drug was concept of circadian medicine was taken into consideration for the analysis. But we very well know that drugging the clock is also an important intervention in treating chronic diseases. So docking analysis of the already known clock modulators, which are really small molecule agents that target directly the clock components was done. And we used majorly used prescribed drugs for that are mood stabilizers for bipolar disorder and other mood disorders also, that is melatonin, lithium and valproic acid. So MTNR1A, GSK3 beta and PPRA, these are the respective targets of these these drugs. And after doping analysis, we found that the clock modulators, very well known clock modulators, bind with these rhythmic drug targets very efficiently. We can see that the Gibbs free energy of this binding is -10, similarly -10 and -9.9. So we can further take this study forward to see that what additional effects these clock modulators can have in cell signaling or at molecular level, and can have additional effects apart from binding to the known molecular core clock components. So here listed are the few of the conclusions of my study. 55% of the molecular targets of the drugs used for the treatment of most prevalent mental disorders exhibit robust 24-hour rhythmicity at transcript level, and majority of the rhythmic targets are involved in important biological pathways, including chronic inflammatory response, glutamate secretion and cell-to-cell adhesion. Small molecule ligands that target core clock components also bind to the mental disorder drug targets with high affinity. Thank you.
So after docking, you have done the docking, right? So what is the plan of using this?
So
So that is a computerized system, it tells you that how it fits in, right?
So the result that suppose this LY209, the first ligand, if it's binding with MTNR1A, that is the melatonin receptor, then we know that melatonin receptor at what timing of the day it is getting expressed at the highest level, at least at the transcript level, not at the protein level. We need to check by Western blotting. So we can show for further analysis that if this particular ligand, if we can administer it inside the cell at that particular time, maybe apart from binding with its clock modulate like core clock component, if it can bind to this target also, what effect it can, additional effect can it produce at the molecular level. So just to check that what additional effect it can produce, we are just hypothesizing that these clock modulators can also bind with these targets.
Nowadays, what they are using the targeted nanoparticles also, and they are changing this structure in such a way that they are opening slowly, delivering the drug slowly, and they are breaking at a particular pH. So it's a more targeted approach.
Yes, but our aim is not to target it more. Our aim is to when the drug should be administered, if it is having a short half-life, and when it is to be administered so that it can have maximum efficacy.